Welcome to the Be Her podcast. This is your girl again, Quiana J, your life and brand architect. And I have this amazing woman of God with me on today for the Her Brand exclusive segment. And her name is Brittnee Smith of the brand Brittnee Smith Creative Company. Welcome, Brittnee, to my stage.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for our conversation.
Yes. Listen, before we get into the good stuff, I want to tell you guys a little bit about her. So Brittnee Smith is a graphic and web designer, creative brand strategist, speaker, and author. She's also the founder and CEO of Brittnee Smith Creative Company. Her mission is to help female entrepreneurs and women-owned small businesses effectively create, cultivate, and monetize their brands. Her superpower is using design and creativity to create a strong visual identity for her clients and helping them promote and communicate their brand through creativity, design, and media. She is a creative idea generator and specializes in providing clear design and executable plans for her clients' projects. Brittnee's areas of expertise is brand development, social media strategy, personal development, motivation, live video, and digital and print design. Through motivational speaking, workshops, coaching, and consulting, she helps her audience and clients transform their thinking through authentic branding and excellent design. When she isn't designing and consulting, she enjoys watching movies, serving in ministry, and spending time with family and friends. She resides in Southern New Jersey with her loving husband and two beautiful daughters. Now, y'all know that I'm excited to be chopping it up with this kingdom woman of God. I was privileged to be on her brand. I had to get her on my platform because she also is in the brand development and coaching industry. So Brittnee, you got to tell us your personal story that kind of led you to entrepreneurship and then the birth of your brand, Brittnee Smith Creative Company. Yikes.
No, it's all good. So it's funny because people ask this question a lot, and I think I'm going to free up a lot of people right here. I started designing out of my own need for design. I was in college. I had no money. Okay. I was a college student. I was working on an EP. I'm a singer as well.
Oh,
and so, just a little something. And so I couldn't afford a designer to design my CD cover. I couldn't afford a website designer. So I'm like, let me just try this thing. And I was actually pretty decent at it. Decent is relative. Obviously, I wouldn't, recommend trying to go back and find those old beginning designs, but I began to get good at it, and people started to take notice and started to ask me to do their designs. And I'm like, okay, and so it started to become a stream of income very early for me. And so from there, I just kind of kept going. I joined this amazing church in 2010 when I graduated college. And eventually I started designing for my church. And, so people started seeing those designs and like, oh, who does your graphics? So it all started to point back to me. So I decided to just take this thing and run with it. I'm entrepreneurial by nature. So I've had other little ventures here and there, but this is the one that seemed to have stuck. So that's kind of how I literally kind of stumbled my way into design, stumbled my way into entrepreneurship. I don't have any formal design training. I don't have any certificates in graphic design or web design or none of that. I'm completely self-taught. And God has led me here to be full-time in that business, so that I can continue to do his work and my work and make money and live the life that I want to live. So, amen.
Listen, we have the same story. That is so crazy. I started off helping a ministry and end up getting into it. That is so crazy. That is so crazy that we have the same, a similar story, shall I say. Yeah. And I definitely don't have no credentials either, sis. It's all God. We in there.
Yes.
We are in there. Man. So you know what? To that note, it makes me think of this question. What have you ever had to battle feeling like that your work kind of didn't measure up to the people who were doing design? Because I battled that some kind of serious.
Oh my gosh. So yes and no. It was more so I didn't feel like I had enough training. You know, like people would say, oh, your designs are great. And people would keep coming to me, but I was like, oh no, I got to learn Photoshop. Oh no, I got to learn WordPress. Yeah. And I would like stress myself out because I didn't know these industry standard, you know, different tools. And so I really did wrestle with that. And because there's like an underlying people pleasing kind of thing going on, there's an insecurity thing going on, a comparison thing going on. And so I would really let those things, like I had this one client, love her, but she just has a way of saying stuff. She was like, yeah, well, how you gonna be a web designer? You don't know WordPress. It's the industry standard.
No, it's not.
Like, oh shoot. So yeah, so I kind of struggled with it in that way.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever necessarily was like, oh, everybody's designs are better, or like there's another level. I learned that there are different styles, and that's really what it is. I'm good at my style. You know, there are people that are great with corporate design. There are people that are great with urban and funky design. I'm somewhere in the middle, you know, and so I had made peace with that everybody has their style, and there are clients and customers out there for all of us, because there are different people that like different things. And that's okay. So
yeah, that is okay. Yeah, that's pretty much what freed me too. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to be content with my style, because what you start to try to do is conform to this image, but then you become a clone instead of your authentic self. So I am totally there with that. So what has been one of the biggest challenges in your business then?
Okay, so my word for the year is consistency, because that has been my biggest challenge in my business. I feel like in the last year has probably been the most consistent I've been in terms of my focus. Because like I mentioned earlier, I'm an entrepreneur by nature. So I had a baking business. That baking business morphed into cupcakes and candles. So I was doing candles at a time. I had some t-shirt stuff going on. Like I had a lot of different things. And it was hard for me to really market and promote myself as a designer because I had so many other things online. So for me, consistency was a really big challenge, because I felt like it's all in my heart to do. Why can't I just do all of it? You know, but then I realized I can't make the money I want to make when my messaging is all like this, all over the place. So that has been my biggest challenge, is consistency.
Yeah, I feel that. I think all of us need to realize what our weaknesses, or what we need to actually, and weakness is not a bad thing. It means to really just strengthen that thing. You can strengthen any weakness. And I like that you said I had to hone in. That's really key for us, especially if you are emerging into the marketplace. It's easy to be like, I'm gonna do these 5 things instead of trying to hone in and feel like you're getting to the center of your niche and really, go after that thing. Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. Have there been any moments where you wanted to quit? If so, how did you overcome those moments?
Yeah. So, okay. One of the things that have kind of brought me to that place is the fact that by nature, and a part of my purpose is to support other entrepreneurs, to support other leaders, right? So I work very closely with my pastors. I work very closely, more so with Pastor Joy, in her business and her ministry, right? And we're very similar in our nature. We're similar in our desire to motivate and encourage and all that. And I'm so entrenched in her stuff that when I try to do my stuff, it's like, listen, it's almost like the same thing. So I'm still fulfilling my purpose if I just do hers. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that she ever tried to make me choose, because that's not the case at all. She's always like, go do your thing, go do your thing. But I had an internal struggle where I was like, I'm just going to put Brittnee Smith Creative down, and I'm going to support my pastor. I'm going to support my woman of God, because she going places. So wherever she go, I know I'm good. I got a job. I'm secure. Okay. And I feel my call to her. Right. And so for me, the challenge has always been when and how to pursue my own thing. And if I do pursue my thing full force, will that affect the people that I love and that I'm supporting? And if it will, I'm willing to lay my stuff down and just do their thing. So the quitting was more so putting my stuff down so I can continue to be a support in these other areas. But in terms of like quitting because it got too hard or anything like that, I'm very hard to give up just because it's hard. It's almost like, oh, it's a challenge. I'm about to figure this thing out, So yeah, for me, quitting kind of came from another perspective. than I think most people.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too, because I also was very, very close to the man and woman of God that I had sat under before I got married. And I was like their chief administrative officer. So it felt like I was like so consumed in that. But it was that foundation that kind of gave me the platform that I needed. So I really feel you when it's like that struggle between, because I'm a pastor now, right, with my husband, and then having to be a part of the brand and marketing for the church, and then still having to do my own thing. It is still a struggle because you got to give time to both. On that note, how do you time manage? How do you balance that?
The question is, do I time manage? Honestly, that's another challenge for me. Like I mentioned earlier, just having a new baby, I also have a 5-year-old, so I have 2 small children at home. We just transitioned to my mother's house. We moved out of my house, so we're like in the midst of moving. Everything is everywhere. And then, like you said, I'm an elder at my church.
Wow.
So I'm very involved, not just with the design aspect, but like I'm leading people, I'm teaching sometimes, I'm doing praise and worship. Like I'm very involved in that. Then I have my business. I'm also married. My husband has his own business and stuff that he's trying to do. So I'm trying to do his branding and stuff. And then it's just like, all right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to set a to-do list. I live by to-do lists. So that's one of the things that really helped me to kind of keep on track with what I have to do. I also have a virtual assistant who has been a blessing from God. She's a believer too. So we start our meetings with prayer. I'm like, listen, Kay, I need you to pray. And she's from the Philippines too. So it's just a little something different on her prayers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just, I use the help that I have. But then a part of me being able to time manage is also me giving grace to myself. Us A-type people, we have a lot of things going on, and we tend to be so hard on ourselves when things fall through the cracks. So I do my best to put things in my calendar. I do my best to have a running to-do list. Like I usually at the top of the week, put down all the things I got to work on, and I get done what I can. That's one of the blessings about being an entrepreneur is like, if you have projects that can wait till next week, I'll make them wait till next week, and the people that I work with, I think because I like to build relationship with people, they're more inclined to be understanding when I have to move things around or push their deliverables back or whatever. But time management is a work in progress for me. Like I want to get to the point where I'm able to time block. But like last week, for example, both kids were home with me. Ain't no time blocking going on with 2 kids talking about mommy, wham, goo, goo. Like there's just a lot going on. So time management is kind of a fluid thing for me. I kind of, try to do this work-life rhythm as opposed to balance. I get done what I can. I rest when I can, and it's all good and it's all right.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love it. I almost want to do a summit on like motherhood, marriage, ministry, mayhem. Like I just want
like all of that.
We gotta talk about that offline.
Yes, and yes,
because it's a real balancing act. You know what I mean? Oh my God.
And to not lose the head that's underneath all the hats you wear. Like, and that is really a whole nother thing, because I came out of a very traumatic pregnancy last summer, like almost died. Okay. Then I still, because I'm like A-type, I didn't take my hands off of my business fully. I didn't take my hands off of ministry fully. It was almost there to keep my sanity, because if I didn't have anything to do, I would have lost it. But then we had this really big event in November. And after that event, I took a dive into depression because I didn't deal with none of the stuff, and so my adrenaline had died down. There was nothing going on, and I was faced with all the stuff. And I'm like, all right, I don't like it here. I don't like this, And so, like you said, we do need to have another conversation about all of those hats. How do you wear them? How do you know when to take one off and put one on? How do you know which to get rid of because that season is up? Like it's a lot.
It's a lot. It is so a lot. And people, I don't think entrepreneurs are talking about it enough. No. I think we're selling a dream that I'm having it all in the same season. No, ma'am, you cannot have it all in the same season. You can't even handle it all in the same season. And I think that's why it's so important to walk with the Holy Spirit, so he can say, this is what you need to focus on. I need you to turn the volume down in this area and increase the volume here. You can't have everything screaming in the same season. You will go into depression because you can't carry that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so key to follow God, Lord Jesus. Man, well, what has been your greatest achievement thus far then, since you've been in business?
Oh, so there's like two things that are kind of like here. I would say, so last year was my first full year in business, self-employed. And so I made a little bit more than I did the first year. And I was really down for about 5 months because of the baby. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to exceed what I made the year before, even being down for 5 months and kind of slowing things all the way down, to me is a major win. And then the summit that you were a part of was like my next big thing, because I'd never done anything like that for my own business.
Oh, that Jake was beast.
Oh my gosh.
I thought you was already doing these on a regular scale.
No. I've done these with my pastor and for her stuff. So like I've had experience, but never for my own brand. So the fact that y'all even said yes to be a part of it, I was like, they said yes to be on my platform. They don't even know I got 5 followers.
I know that feeling. Oh my God. I'm all here for it.
Yes. So for me, that was major. The fact that you guys said yes, and you guys are all experts in your field, and you didn't find it robbery to come and be a part of my little event, that was major for me. Secondly, we had like 85 people sign up for it. So that was huge for me as well. Just the interest and the response to it. Because like I said earlier, we kind of battle this I'm not good enough thing. At least for me, like that has been a theme in my life that I've been wrestling with. And it's almost like my thorn in my flesh, that anytime I feel like I'm killing it, that thing shows up like, hold up, you not good enough. Like, so for me, the summit was a huge success. And then being able to take that momentum into this year has been incredible for sure.
I've noticed that the more I talk to other people, especially who I look up to, like I look up to you actually. So it's like, I'm gonna have Brittnee, like that is so amazing. Cause I just think you're like, literally, like I just sit in the groups, of course. I don't do much, of course, unless I'm going to provide value. Cause I don't believe in just chattering, you know what I mean? I believe in like truly adding value if you're going to go into a group. And I'm just like, oh my God, like she's beautiful, she's authentic, she's, real, and all of that. That's why I love when you actually share transparent moments, because it's like, that this person is like a real person, and how does she balance the ups and downs? If you're always on, which is what social media can show you, you would think everybody is always on, up and popping, but that is a lie. Like there is some stuff that people really do go through. So when people share their stories, you're like, oh, I don't feel so alone in this. Like, oh, this is common to the territory of entrepreneurship, especially women, when we feel like I'm not good enough and we always have to fight, comparison and competition and all of that. Here's a nugget that I learned in entrepreneurship, and I'm talking to kingdom entrepreneurs. There's no such thing as competition. Right. The world has competition, but for us, we don't have competition. We have collaborating with the Lord.
That's right.
And getting the results, and he's responsible for the outcomes. We're responsible for bringing the fish and loaves to market. He's responsible for the 5,000 and the outcomes. And I keep that in my perspective, that I'm not in a race or at a pace with anybody. You know what I mean? It frees you to just be who you are. And like you said earlier, to be like, I can put this project to next week. I'm not in a race with nobody. You know what I mean? I don't feel the pressure anymore, but you got to give yourself permission to think like that. Think big branding every single day. Like it is not something you're like, okay, this is it, and I never have to think about this again. No, you scroll through social media, you'll get triggered all over again, and got to go through the process of giving yourself permission to know that God got you, and that the results will come when you just simply follow him and just be you and actually show up, so.
Absolutely. And it's easy to lose sight of that. It's easy to lose sight of the fact that this is not your party. You're attending the party, but this ain't your party. This is God's party. Okay. Like it's he set the date. He invited the guests. He provided the catering. You just need to make sure you show up on time. You got to show up and you got to show up on time. And even when you're late, he's still like, you know what? That's all right. I'm going to fix it. And so what you just said, it resonates with me so much, because even in this space that I'm in, I was determined to take time off from Christmas through the whole month of January for the most part. And people like January 1 were like, oh, are you open again? I need a website. Like they were like knocking. And I'm like, I'm trying to keep them at bay. But the temptation is, I need this money. Like, this is my gig. Like, this is my only gig. So I need this money. And God is constantly reminding me, be still and know that I am God, not you and your little websites. It's God, you know? And I'm like, but God, I want to make 6 figures this year in my business. He's like, okay, and lay down. Like, I'll make you lie down in green pastures, like chill, come on, eat this grass, sit by this water, okay,
and drink from me.
And drink from me. And so if I'm honest, I'm in a place where I'm really trying to get back to that secret place where like there's no cracks, there's no openings, there's no draft from the outside. Like, Lord, I want to be in a cocoon with you so that you can fill me back up so I can serve from a place of overflow. Not from a place of I gotta hustle. I don't want to hustle. I want to chill in him and let him literally lead me beside still pastures in my business. You know, like that's where I'm at. Like I just like, Lord, like that's what I want. If you hear me right now, like,
that's the difference between being just a Christian who has a business and being a kingdom entrepreneur. Because you have to know that He put you in the marketplace with this gift, and that He's the one that really needs to be getting the glory and not you. That it's not about you at all. So you got to balance. I'm not trying to build an empire, but I am literally participating in something that God has given me, and it doesn't belong to me. On top of that, like that's crazy. And you said a thing there, telling something it's not even your party. Jesus, like that's a word right there. I'm taking that with me because that is that's repeatable and tweetable right there.
Yes, ma'am.
My God. So tell us about your creative process. Like, what does that look like? A little peek behind the scenes.
Yeah. So I'm very visual in terms, like, I feel like that's a part of the divine part of my gifting is like when someone's talking to me, like you could be telling me, yeah, I see this, or I'm this kind of person, or this is my business. I'll already start to kind of see shapes, colors, vibes, feels, or whatever. So literally all you have to do is kind of tell me what you're looking for. And most of the time I can capture what the client is trying to get at. What I found, and you probably identify with this as well, is that most people don't know what they want.
Don't know at all.
They be like, yeah, I want
to do more strategy with them, cuz.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, so can you can you provide me with some samples, like just screenshot some things that look nice to you, so that way I can kind of get a feel for what you're gravitating towards. So that's kind of the beginning. I listen, I hear out the client and kind of try to catch their heart. And then again, allowing the Holy Spirit to kind of fill in the gaps, because they'll be saying a bunch of stuff, but it's like, okay, let me pull this out. And then from there, I kind of do a little design hunting, if you will, for inspiration on like Google, Pinterest, whatever. Like, let's say I had a lady, bless her heart, she is in the fitness and wellness industry, and she had a book cover that I was designing for her. She lost 100 pounds in her journey, and so she was going to tell her story or whatever. So I'm like, all right, great. I look up self-help fitness books, or health and wellness books of people's stories or whatever, to see like what the vibe is. She sends me something completely different from the industry standard. She sent me some little rinky-dink something. So I'm like, okay, if you like it, I love it. I'm gonna design something I designed what I wanted to design. And then I took her feedback and designed something according to what she designed. She's like, I think I like what you did first. I'm like, yo, if you would just trust me as the expert.
Yeah.
Okay. But basically back to the design process question, I gather information and then I provide a sample concepts of what they're asking me for. And like I said, most times they're like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, great. And then we kind of just tweak it from there. So that's really my process. I kind of get the information, let it run through my processor. And then I just get to work. In terms of like my creative space, when I am designing, I like to have a candle burning. I like to have some like non-word music in the background. So whether it's jazz or whether it's like instrumental worship, like stuff that won't like make me sing because I'm a singer. So like if I hear words, I'm like, nah, 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 and then I forget what I'm doing. So, but yeah, like a candle and music and maybe something to drink. And I'm like, I'm good. I can just go.
I mean, did I just meet my twin or something? Like, it is so freaking crazy.
Hey guys, I'm Brianna Jade.
I guess I'll be Brittnee Smith Company. Like, that is so crazy. I am so baffled. I love it though. All right, so definitely tell us about like the products and services you offer, you know, how it makes it unique to the market, and just, you know, some ongoing offer that you may have that you want to extend to the audience.
Sure. So what makes my business unique, again, it's really the secret sauce of the Holy Spirit, and my ability to capture vision. I think that one, my ability to capture vision, but two, because I'm a designer and a strategist, you kind of get the both of them together, whether you came to me for one or the other. So like if you came to me for strategy, we might talk about what you need to do, but then I can also provide the website, the book cover, the online course designs, the web banners, the t-shirts. I can do all the stuff to go along with what you're trying to build. Or if you have designs, like let's say you have that book cover you want to do, I can do your book cover, but then I can also give you ideas on how to market it, and how to make it successful, because you can't just have a book and then it just be sitting there because it's not going to sell itself. So I think that's one of the major things about my business that makes it unique, is that it's a marriage between strategy and design. And then on top of that, like if you're open to it, I'm gonna pray with you about your thing.
I know that's right.
You know, I have a lot of clients who are also believers. So we pray in our consultations or in our strategy sessions. So again, I think that's another thing that I bring to the table, is that relationship. You know, I care about my clients beyond the money that they bring. I care about them as people, you know, so that's one of the things that I bring to the table. And then in terms of like continuous offers that I have, I'm always available for strategy. That's my favorite part of my business, believe it or not. Like the favorite part. Yeah, design is cool. Yeah. You know, websites are like kind of like my least favorite thing, just because it's such a big lift. Yes. Yeah, but strategy is my favorite thing. Like I can brainstorm all day. Like you'll come to me like, yeah, I have this book. But then by the time we're done, you have like a whole online store, you have events planned. Like it just happens. So that's my favorite part. So if you're interested and you need help thinking through your business, I can help with that. If you need help with your systems, we'll talk about systems. If you need help with the brand identity, what your colors, your look and your feel, like we could talk about all of that in one session. So you feel when you walk away feeling like you have clarity. Yeah. And then you can do what you do best. A lot of people get stuck in their business because they're trying to do my job in their business when that's not their thing.
Right. I hate the piecemeal. Why do you piecemeal this thing when you can just get it done in one swoop and be ready for what you do best, you know? You have a lead magnet or like a free offer, how they can get on your email subscription list or anything like that?
So I'm actually, and this is like, maybe this is bad as a brand strategist, but I'm in the middle of revamping all of that, all of my funnels and everything. I feel it. So you can go to my website, BrittneeSmithCreative.com, and you can fill out like an inquiry form just to let me know like what you're doing and what you have going on. And we can have a conversation through a consult. That'll be the best way for us to get connected right now. Because like I said, I had a strategy session. So my pastor, she does strategy sessions and coaching and stuff like that. Awesome. And so I had a strategy session with her, and this woman of God, I left the meeting like this.
Blown away.
Yes. So I'm building out those funnels now, so that they make sense. Because beforehand, I was just like, yeah, you can have this. Yeah, you can have that. You can have all these things. But we want to make sure people are organized and they know where they're going. So I want to create a journey for you guys. So just go to my website, BrittneeSmithCreative.com, or you can follow me on Instagram at Brittnee N. Smith, or on Facebook at Brittnee N. Smith or Brittnee Smith Creative. And lastly, my Facebook group for women in business is female coaches, consultants, and content creators. You just type that in, join the group, and get more of me every week because I know you want it. No?
Y'all are going to want this. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. again, there is no competition here. We do very, very similar things. And I'm with you. I love strategy more than anything. I love coaching. There's a lot of prophetic insight that comes out through those sessions more than just coming to me for a logo. I hate when people just come to me for a logo. I'm like, dude, you need more than just a logo, boo. You need the whole brand experience.
Oh my gosh.
Because they don't know. So you have to always fool them. So I am so glad that you are in the marketplace with me. Oh my God. So we can just help these kingdom women really do this. Y'all make sure y'all connect with her. If you are viewing this live on YouTube, it is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. But if you are tuning in on the podcast app, her information is in the description. I do not mind marketing her.
Thank you.
This is now my brand bestie right here, because we're gonna have to get up for, I have so like 10, my mind went 10 ways through this conversation. So listen, Brittnee, thank you again for gracing us with your presence. It's just an honor to have you on my podcast, to just be able to peek into your life and to hear what God is doing through you in the marketplace. But before we go, I want you to just name like one thing, or what is one thing that you would want to encourage or empower the women who are listening. They're emerging, they're existing, kingdom women entrepreneurs who are tuning in. What is like that one empowerment or encouragement you would give them before we wrap up?
Oh, there's so many things. Okay, so my one thing would be, get clear about your why, get clear about your vision, and don't deviate. No matter what you do, stay with the plan, the original plan. People will try to take you to the left and to the right and have you out there floating somewhere talking about, I do all these things that you don't really do. Do what you were created to do. If you are only created to do cookies, leave the cupcakes alone, leave the cakes alone, leave the cake pops, do cookies, okay? Because God has anointed the authentic you, not the copy of you or not the version of you that you created or allowed other people to create, all right? So yeah, be you and do you and stick to that. That is the spot that God is going to bless.
My God. Y'all heard that? Listen, that's a word and that's a wrap for the Her Brand Exclusive.